My name is Cathal McNaughton and I'm a photojournalist. What really got me into photography in the beginning isn't remotely anything why I am so passionate about photography now. At the beginning it was more a case of excitement and thrill and adrenaline, because I started really at the tail end of the Troubles here in the north of Ireland, and it was seeing all the other international photographers flying in and flying out again, and looking over through the broadsheets the next day to see how they photographed things, and then seeing their names appear under international news stories as well. So photographers were really like my superstars. They were the people, rather than having pictures of them on their wall, I had their pictures on my wall. So that's what got me into photography, and the excitement that led to my career. Whenever I first started out, I overcomplicated things, I would say. As many people do when they're starting out in a profession, they haven't really found their own voice or their own eyes, so they're trying everything to try and find themselves within whatever profession they're doing. So over the years, what I've found is I try to make everything as simple as possible now, and simple is the hardest thing to do. I want my pictures to look like snapshots, like pictures that were taken just by somebody that was walking past and just clicked. And I've found that the hardest thing to do. It's taken me all this time to get to the point where I can do that, not all the time, but most of the time. And so I think, strangely, that after I learned as much as I could, and I learned how all the different lighting techniques and everything, I then forgot about them. I just put them to the side and I no longer use them. I try and make things look as direct and as simple as possible. I'm really interested in our place in the world as a species, and how we interact with the world around us, and how the world affects us as people. So that is what my passion is, and my main focus is to photograph the sort of language we have with the world around us, and how we work in like symbiotically together, and whether that be how we are affected by even climate change, or even our natural disasters or whatever. That's where my passion lies, is to see our effect on the world, and how the world then affects us. So it's our relationship with the world around us. Well, with this particular exhibition, it's a slight departure for me, because it's a set of portraits. I do take a lot of portraits when I'm on assignment, but rarely would I have a collection of them on one assignment where I would then exhibit them all together. But this came from visiting Kashmir several times, and always seeing it portrayed in the same way. So after some thinking, whatever, this is the idea that I came up with, to try and show how these two different groups of young men, who are diametrically opposed to each other in their views, are just two sides of the same coin. They come from the same areas, they come from very similar backgrounds, and they have very similar aspirations and dreams. And then to show them in their what are effectively costumes, because they both wear costumes. One happens to be legally sanctioned military uniforms, and the other are balaclavas and what have you. But they're both wearing these costumes that they play out their roles in. But they are, just as I said, two sides of the same coin. We're all influenced by our childhood and the environment that we grew up in. And I grew up in the north of Ireland during the Troubles. So that influences my work, and it can be seen throughout my work. And when I first visited Kashmir, the similarities between there and here, they just grabbed me straight away, and that's what gave me a real passion for the area and a real love of the people. So yeah, my childhood is reflected throughout my career. So you don't have to scratch the surface very much to see my background in all the work I do, and the interests and the subject matter that I photograph. It is influenced very much by coming from here. This exhibition is got I have such an emotional connection to this exhibition because of what ensued afterwards. This exhibition and photographing it affected my own personal life in such a dramatic and obvious way that to see these pictures on the wall means an awful lot to me. It's almost like I can get some closure on what happened in that period of time in my life. Taking these photographs led to me being expelled from India. It led to me never being able to step foot back in that country again, and it led to me having to leave my job at the time, and it led to a lot of mental stress and hardship and a lot of soul searching, which I wasn't expecting. So when I look at these photographs, if you're doing something and highlighting something that you really believe in, and it pisses an entire country off to the point where they want to exclude you from being in that country, I think I've done my job. So I'm quite happy, and I'm proud of the trouble that ensued after it, even though it was I had to take it all on. But that's nothing to what the people in these photographs have to endure every day. So photography can be very much about taking all the time. You're taking people's pictures, and I've done that throughout my career, and you're asking them to reveal a little bit of themselves. Well, this is almost like payback for all the years that I've been taking. I've had to give something back now into my photography, and I'm okay with that. Although it took a while, but now I'm okay with that.